Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. How's it going? Oh, getting ready to get things started here. Apologies for the delay. Apologies for the delay. Oh, boy. I'm actually functional. I just decided I needed to stretch, and apparently that triggered a yawn, but I am alive. I am functional. I am here. I hope you all are doing well. Hello, Toctanium Loreman. Hello, hello. Psh. How's it going, Ben? Oh, I don't know if you saw, but I had announced via my community page that I was going to be delaying the stream by a couple of hours as stuff had come up. Jane's grandma is now sick, and they were trying to figure out what was going on with her, but turns out it is not COVID, it is the flu. So that's good news. The bad news, though, is that Jane is very, very tired, doesn't feel well, and is currently napping. So she probably has the flu. But at the end of the day, she's going to have something better the flu than COVID, so. And good thing is that, as I mentioned in my Discord, she and I have been quarantining from each other since she got back, since she was concerned that she might be sick with something. And it turns out she may have been right. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Ma-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Missed it. Sorry to hear Jane and her grandma aren't doing well. Yeah, it is what it is, you know. Travel during the best of times is liable to get you sick, let alone right now, so. But we're going to do some lore reading, and then tonight we'll have the premiere of the finale for Triangle Strategy, which is pretty great. Pretty dang great. Very, very satisfying, so. I was worried because we're getting some like severe thunderstorm warnings and stuff maybe 20 minutes ago, and it rained really hard, but it seems to have passed, so I was worried that I was going to have to delay the stream a little bit longer because I didn't want to have my computer on while it was potentially storming, but it seems fine. Looking forward to that stream tonight too. It's technically not a stream, it's a premiere, but yeah, it's going to be really good. Hour and a half of solid content, so it's a good ending, man. Like, especially you as someone who has played Final Fantasy Tactics, you, I think, will very much appreciate it. Everything that it does is very, very nice. Oh, but I actually have not been in Triangle Strategy since I recorded that ending. So let's see here. Here's our notes. And here's everything that we have to read. I know some of it we have already read. Wonders of Norzelia, Volume 8, I believe we read. Volume 10 and Volume 11. Yeah, those are the ones that I read in my lore reading video that I did previously. So we can probably skip this. Better than FFT. Wow, I can't believe you said that. You actually said that. That's crazy. Wow. All right, let's be easy. Let's not over-exaggerate my words here. Hey, Fine is here. Mr. Taloon is here. Hello, hello. How's it going, guys? Thanks for joining us. Again, sorry I delayed the stream a bit, but I was explaining this to a Canadian animator guy who's in the chat that Jane's grandma is sick, and like Jane was already worried that they might have picked up COVID or something while they were on their trip. And so they were like going and making sure that she was all right, but it turns out she has the flu. So that's good, better than having COVID. But Jane now is sleeping because she is very tired and doesn't feel well. So it's entirely possible that she has the flu. So we're gonna see what happens. But I delayed the stream while we were getting all that figured out. So is it looking like an incomplete manga collection? Yeah, I know. I need to go through and like play the game a couple more times, do the routes that I didn't do, find things that I missed, and fill everything out. But at the very least, we can read what it is that we have and see what the lore of the game is. Hello, Aspiring Pixelton. How's it going? Talon, not Talon. Oh, okay, fair enough. Thank you for the correction. If I look over at chat and mispronounce your name again, it's just reflex, because, like, I'm multitasking, but I promise will be doing my best to remember that it is Talon. Alright, we've got a few people coming in here now, so I think we can go ahead and get started. I'm not going to reread the 4 things that we've read during the course of the Let's Play, which are The Power of Salt, and then Marvels of Norzelia Volume 8, 10, and 11. If you didn't see my reading of these, that was in my one lore reading video that I did, which this is kind of a continuation of. But I think we can go ahead and start off here with Marvels of Norzelia, Volume 5. Up the Norsalia River, near the Glenbrook Esfrost border, you will find Telior Reservoir, a lake of fresh mountain water made from damming up that section of the river. Construction took several long decades, hundreds of workers, and thousands of back-breaking hours of labor. But it was worth it, for the dam now protects the Crown City from floods and stores enough clean water to last the kingdom for years to come. Grape orchards have also sprung up on the slopes surrounding the reservoir, producing wine that is so famous I need hardly elaborate. Sipping a glass of that wine on a warm summer's eve whilst gazing upon the luminescence of Telior's famed street lamps reflected in the reservoir's still surface. Nothing in the realm quite compares to such a pleasure. Studios art team is strong. Oh my god, yeah. Like, first Octopath and now this, they're amazing. Extremely talented people working there, for sure. For sure. Marvels of Norzelia, Volume 6. At the top of a steep mountain path loom the 2 towers and a giant gate that gives this Esfrosti stronghold its name, Twins Gate. Situated on the border with Glenbrook, it defends the only passage into the duchy. For generations, command of Twins Gate had been entrusted to an army general, until recently, when Minister Svarog Esfrost was inexplicably given the role. For a giant gate made of iron, it can be opened or shut with surprising speed. I'm not sure of the exact mechanisms that enable this swiftness, as it is a heavily guarded military secret. But, according to an Esfrosti soldier with whom I struck up a friendship, they have somehow harnessed the power of the subterranean source of the Norsalia River. Everyone always talks about weaponry when it comes to Esfrosti ironworking, but perhaps attention ought to be paid instead to the mastery of craft that has allowed the duchy to construct such an incredible, precise device so deep in the mountains. Svarog! Best dad. Yeah, Svarog truly is the best dad. Like, Svarog, I'm so pleased with the way his character is developed, so he's great. He's great. Also, yes, I'm just messing around with different voices for these. I won't always be doing voices for them, I'm sure, but just when the mood strikes. It's just very off-the-cuff casual, so... Oh, that's really cool, though, that they, like... The world building, you know, they use the underground river to power the mechanism that swings these gates open and shut very quickly. That's so cool. That's very, very interesting. I like that a lot. Fort Briggs from FMA, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'd be surprised if that wasn't in Inspiration, actually. That would make a lot of sense. Alright, Volume 7. Perhaps this is a bold claim, but I am nearly certain that everything one would want to know about Norzelia could be learned in the north. Yes, in the Esfrosti archives. Generations of archdukes pursued knowledge and technology in order to transform the remote duchy into a mighty force to be reckoned with. They gathered texts from every corner of the realm, and these archives are the result. The large collection of books and scrolls grows ever larger by the day, rendering organization nigh impossible. Though that means wisdom believed lost to the ages may very well be slumbering among the stacks. Containing the very history of Norzelia itself, the archives are a treasure house of knowledge and potential. The current Archduke Gustadolf has opened the archives to a veritable flood of scholars, allowing all manner of research to be conducted. Who knows what surprising discoveries tomorrow might bring because of this. Twice you've tried to met Svarog in your routes, and twice you've been outvoted? Wow, that's brutal. Damn. Yeah, I got lucky. I didn't run into any circumstances where I got outvoted, but some of my friends who've played the game said that they definitely did, which is... I'm so happy to see. Like, I'm so happy that they make you actually earn it. Am I able to turn down the BGM a little? Yeah, absolutely. That can be done. There, how's that? Let me know. I can adjust it back up or down as needed. Thank you for letting me know. I like that S-Frost, like, they're not just the metalworking place, but they just have knowledge in general. And different knowledge than Hyzant. Like, it really fleshes the two states out as very distinct nations, but equal in a lot of ways. Accent went into 1920s newsy near the end there. That's what I was trying to harness, yeah. So I'm glad that that came across. They're coming around the bend right now. It's Serenity out in front, but the other horse is not far behind. No, thank you, Ben, please. All right, 8, 10, and 11, we're going to skip over because we did read those in my previous video, but ooh, here, okay. Marvels of Norzelia, Volume 14. I happened upon the village by mistake while lost in my travels. When I saw that everyone's hair was the color of roses, I realized that I must be in the Rosellan village. I had thought it to be a mere rumor until then. At first they were wary of me, no doubt because I was an outsider, but when they learned that I had been wandering the wilderness for days and was moments from collapse, I was immediately welcomed into their midst. They even prepared a bed and hot meal for me. I stayed in that village for a brief spell and eventually befriended the Roselle therein. I am not a follower of the goddess, but I know her teachings claim the Roselle tried to seize the realm's salt as their own. As such, I held a regrettably bad opinion of the Roselle, despite never having met them. But those villagers were kind and proud. They welcomed a complete stranger like myself with open arms. I felt absolutely ashamed of my rash assumptions. I won't reveal the location of their village, nor the identity of its occupants. I do not intend to criticize the goddess or her followers, but at the same time, I do not believe that the Roselle should be unilaterally condemned as sinners. I pray that a day comes when the goddess's faithful and the Roselle can live together in peace in our fine realm, and Norzelia will be all the better for it. I was trying to channel a little bit of, I think, is it Isaac? From the Castlevania animated series on Netflix. That man was such a badass. If that's, I think... yeah, because Hector... Yeah, it's Hector and Isaac. Yeah. And Isaac is the one with the... Not with a whip. What did he... Oh, what was his weapon? Oh, he had a knife. That's what he had. Yeah, Isaac had the knife. And they're off! She's the fastest, jumps out to an insurmountable lead. Coming around the far turn is It Always Comes in second, and I'm number 3. Amazing how these horses have lived up to the legacy of their names. Crazy how many other characters in this game handwave the, slavery. Yeah. But that's the unfortunate reality of, like, living in a time where that's just kind of something that happens and is considered normal, you know? There are going to be a lot of people that don't question it. It's... The nature of humanity is we are very accepting of the things that just are when we're born. It's just like, yeah, that's just how it is. You know, and you don't think about it until something or someone makes you think about it. Marvels of Norzelia, Volume 15. I, Marco, began this journey to explore every corner of Norzelia. Unfortunately, that dream is yet unfulfilled. I trekked through forests, traversed deserts, sailed up rivers, and scaled mountains. I rode horses at times and soared atop the backs of hawks at others, but even still, there were peaks beyond the mountains, and a sea of sand as far as the eye can see. Norzelia is a land without end, and so my dream may end at that. A dream. Even if it does, I have no regrets. I learned so much about Norzelia in my travels. I've seen both its wilds and cities, and met countless people who call this realm home. My journey was full of discoveries and inspiring moments. I wrote this diary to convey the incredible things I was blessed to witness with my own eyes, and how those marvels made me feel. I believe that someday another traveler will pick up my journey where I left off. They will fulfill my dream of seeing every corner of Norzelia. And yet, I do realize that, like, all of these were probably written by the same guy, so having a bunch of different voices was probably silly, but it's fun that way. It keeps things interesting for me while I'm reading, you know? Alright, and that's the volumes of Marvels of Norzelia that I have. Obviously, there's a lot more to find, but I'm gonna have to play the game through again for that. Now, this, Beagle's Nature Records, I've never looked at any of this before, so I have no idea what this is. Beagle. We should have a consistent voice for Beagle since there's a name attached to it. The Plains of Glenbrook, which spread across the center of the realm, are a fertile area enriched by the river's waters. The central area has been cleared away and established as the breadbasket of Norzelia, known for its bountiful grain harvests. So, yeah, okay. Good to actually be seeing something about Glenbrook. We haven't really read about Glenbrook at all before. To the south lies a vast forest, wherein tigers are rumored to roam. Oh. Tigers in Glenbrook. I would have loved to have gotten, like, a tiger-mounted character. Maybe there is one. I know I haven't recruited all the characters, so. There are a number of Glenbrook legends regarding kings and warriors who hunted these beasts, which likely came from a time when that forest covered more of the plains. Hawks are also known to inhabit various areas across the plains. Their shrewd conduct and gallant figure is known to all who live in the area, and they are beloved by the kingdom's people, even, not the people's kingdom, as a symbol of strength and pride. The hawk upon House Wolford's crest is a perfect example of that adoration. Snoopy? Who's Snoopy? The voice that I was doing? Hello! Thank you for joining us. I apologize, I don't know how to say your name because I'm not that good at reading Japanese. Beagle's Nature Records Part 2. Oh, Snoopy because he's a beagle. I get it. Yep. In the northern reaches of the realm lie the Nausea Mountains. They are the source of the Norzelia River, and the blizzards surrounding their ice and snow-covered peaks prevent any from passing through. The summit is a harsh place where not even birds dare fly. Beneath the ground, however, run rich veins of iron, copper, silver, and more. The people of Esfrost eventually managed to reach these veins, and opened several mines. Beagle's voice is apparently frying my brain, jeez. Prospectors looking for iron deposits should first seek out the alpine plant known as ferrum weed. Tiny red flowers sprout upon this weed's black leaves, and the plant itself can only be found in areas rich in iron. Red and black, the colors of the Grand Duchy, are said to represent fire and iron, but may also stand for the colors of ferrum weed. The Norzelian Mountains are also a major habitat of great hawks. Great hawks, both intelligent and large enough to carry a rider upon their backs, were once known to nest all across the realm, but are now rarely seen outside the mountains. Due to the difficulties of artificial breeding, these mountains are considered a very valuable place to hawk riders, and any who use birds when sending missives. Very cool. I like this detail too, that like, even just the color schemes of the nations, at least with Esfrost here, is represented by something in the in-game universe. That's such good world building. Ruizu, is that the name? Okay, gotcha. Well, if that's correct, hello, Ruizu. Beagle's Nature Records, Part 3. In the east sprawls a barren desert wasteland known as the Hyzantian Sands, home of the Source. A tributary of the Norzelia River runs through the area, but its waters are no match for the desert's soaring temperatures and harsh sunlight. At night, however, temperatures sink below freezing. Aside from Hyzant's capital, developed around the source, and the western part of the sands, the area is entirely unsuitable for living. Several small oases dot the depths of the sands, and herds of wild horses gather around these watering holes. They are robust creatures, having lived in the desert's harsh conditions even, which makes them a perfect fit for any army's cavalry. Nations are willing to pay a high price for these horses. The famed Hyzantian cavalry's horses were also taken from the sands. Many attempts have been made to reach the ends of the sands over the course of time, but none have succeeded. Although countless people enter the desert in search of adventure or riches, few return. Delving into the Hyzantian sands is not a matter to be taken lightly. One must be willing to risk their very life when stepping foot into the wilderness. I like this idea that the world outside of Norzelia, like the immediate Norzelian countryside, is unknown. Only that it used to be underwater, and it really makes me wonder if there's some like hints of post-apocalyptic-y nature to things, you know? Like, is this the only remaining bastion of humanity rocked back to the Middle Ages, you know? You can view the author name in the Sundry Shop, though the names are not in the main story. Ah, okay. Interesting. So, like, if we went here, and we went down to all the various texts. Oh, yeah, look at that. I'd never noticed that. Chronicles of Glenbrook's history compiled by the analyst Siva. Saltire and War, written by the historian Rank. Siva. Textbook compiled by the Norzelian Medical Association. Herod. Rank. Yeah. Kaunitz. Okay, that's really cool. Marinovsky. That's super cool. That's a really, really nice detail. I like that. Thanks for the heads up on that. Oops. Oh. Yeah, what I was going to say is, like, it really makes you wonder what is outside Norzelia. Is there anything else out there? Apparently Centralia lies to the south, according to Rosellan legend, but, like, I don't know how much stock there is in that. Imagine a tactics game with a city hidden underwater. Haha, yeah, that'd be super dope, wouldn't it? Alright, so these secret tactics, these are just, like, hints about how to play the game. Nothing really notable to read there. The Saltire and War, however, this should be good. This I'll probably just read in my normal voice. The Saltire and War, one of the fiercest wars raged in the realm of Norzelia, can be roughly divided into 3 periods. Before its onset, the Grand Duchy of Esfrost secretly contacted the Kingdom of Glenbrook and asked for an alliance to break Hyzant's monopoly over salt. Glenbrook agreed. In exchange for their logistical support and permission to march through the kingdom, Glenbrook asked Esfrost for joint governance of the source. On the day the war began, the duchy's troops proceeded through Glenbrook and declared war on Hyzant as they rushed to the Holy State's capital. Hyzant barely had time to close its gates, and the goddess's shield protected them from the onslaught. But their forces were unprepared, leaving them no choice but to take the defensive against Esfrost's iron might. In hopes of turning their position around, the Hierophant sought the aid of a clan that made their home in the northeastern reaches of modern-day Glenbrook. They called themselves House Wolford. Simon, lord of their house, heard the Hierophant's plea and made way for the Holy State with a small but elite force of warriors. Their bold attack broke through the duchy's encirclement and forced them to retreat to the border. This effectively destroyed Esfrost's hopes of an early resolution. The exploits of Simon Wolfort changed history. From that point forth, the Wolforts, which had been no more than a small clan in the area, became key in altering the course of the war. That'll be for Triangle Strategy 2, Hexagonal Nightmare. That'd be something else, right? Jeez. I know that Narv had a grandfather whose name was erased from history. Do any of the contents belong to him? Oh. That's a very good question. Actually, let's take a look. I don't think we know his first name, right? We just know that he was the Archmage Grandante. Marco... these are like just notifications. Book compiled by the Hawkers Guild. More of Beagle's nature records. Norzelian Shipping Association, Beagle. System of Magic. Ah, there you go, right here. A comprehensive tome covering a wide range of topics from the basics of magic to its research history. It is said to be the secret records of a certain Archmage, edited by the Ministry of Medicine. There you go. This right here is the writings of the Archmage Grandante. That is pretty dope. I would not have thought to look for that. Very, very cool. That should be an interesting one to read. Simon the Digger. Indeed, indeed. Heck of a change in his life once he successfully repelled the spirals and wound up becoming the lord of a high house. Grandante could be a first name? I mean, maybe. Actually, okay, hold on. If we talk to Narv... Narv Oparin. Okay. So it is entirely possible, then, that his grandfather is Grandante Oparin. You might be right on that, Fine. That's a good point. Good call. Alright. Had to yawn. The Salt Iron War, Part 2. The fighting came to a standstill with Esfrost and Glenbrook on one side, and Hyzant and Wolford on the other. The war affected not only those on the battlefield, but all across Norzelia. Before long, the salt reserves that the duchy had amassed in anticipation of the war began to dwindle, and they realized they would not last much longer. In Hyzant, the Hierophant succumbed to illness. The Saintly Seven quarreled over who would succeed the Holy One, and the city descended into chaos. It is rumored that during the turmoil, the Rizal revolted and fled the source. Nothing was made official, but the rumor was likely true, given the subsequent state of the city and the army's struggles. Wild that just in the last 30 years, like, all this stuff happened. Like, damn. I mean, it's not, like, unrealistic at all, but just, wow, a lot can happen. Despite the growing fatigue of both parties, all nations involved were reluctant to retreat out of fear of public backlash, so the war dragged on. Battles small and large were waged, the fight at the renowned Citadel of the Sands among them. Details of the damages are still unknown to this day. The people and soldiers of all nations suffered greatly over the 30 years that came to be known as the Salt Iron War. There you go. But we're not done. Oh, look at this art, man. It's so good. The Salt Iron War claimed the lives of many and left entire cities in ruins. After seeing the destruction, King Regna of Glenbrook contacted Lord Simon of Wolford in secret. He wished to find a path toward peace. Acutely aware of the pointlessness of the war, Simon agreed to meet, and the two began working together to bring an end to the bloodshed. Glenbrook and Wolford declared that they would no longer support Esfrost and Hyzant. They demanded an immediate end to the war, and for all nations to discuss the reconstruction of Norzelia in a peace conference. Knowing that Glenbrook and Wolford were prepared to fight if they refused, the destitute nations of Esfrost and Hyzant agreed. Thus, the Salt Iron War was brought to an end. At the conference, all parties agreed the nation's borders would remain intact and made a pact of non-aggression. Furthermore, each nation was forbidden from arbitrarily limiting the distribution of salt and iron, and the Norzelia Consortium was established to neutrally control the trade of those materials. House Wolford also became an influential house within the Kingdom of Glenbrook. The war gave way to a new framework within Norzelia, one that included the Consortium and Glenbrook's 3 high houses, but discussions over their merits and shortcomings must wait for another time. Two massive wars 30 years apart. Sounds awfully familiar. Yeah. We write what we know, you know? That's some concept art right there. I love it. Oh, God. I love seeing assets like this in-game. It's just so nice. It's so nice. Because it gives it such a storybook feel, you know? Like, more so than the game already had. The History of Glenbrook. Ooh, this should be good. The Kingdom of Glenbrook is the oldest of the three nations existing today. Though there have been changes to the branch families, the blood of the founder still runs strong in the veins of the current king, Regna. Footnote: the holy state of Hyzant asserts that their nation was founded first according to the goddess's scriptures, and that Glenbrook's long history is a fabrication of later generations. Glenbrook has continued to ignore this claim. God damn it, Hyzant. The Grand Duchy of Esfrost was founded by the Archduke's family, who shared a common ancestor with the royal family of Glenbrook. They insisted upon their right to succeed the throne up until the Saltire War began, and denied the current royal family's rule. But when the war began, they acknowledged the family's legitimacy, and the two nations formed a secret alliance. It is said that King Regna required the former Archduke, Sigmund, to officially recognize his rule in order to enter into an alliance. Regna was savvy, man. Regna was savvy, it seems. He knew what he was up to, including falling in love with peasant women. The Royalists and three high houses. There are many aristocratic houses beneath the royal family of Glenbrook, and the kingdom itself has a very complex political system, where customs and rights intertwine. The government is split into sections, and the Royalists, aristocrats trained from a young age, are each in charge of their own field. Needless to say, each similarly has their own interests. The people satirize them in response, claiming that the Royalists talk all day, but never decide a thing, for only money matters among them. God, sounds like the U.S. Congress, huh? And Senate, and politics in general. King Regna attempted to reform the system after the Saltire War. He first split the Wolford clan 3 ways, and placed each house in charge of protecting 3 strategic locations. He appointed the clan lord, Simon, as lord of the Wolford domain. He then elected the adept Landroy Fawkes, who fought at Simon's side during the war, as lord of the bountiful southern lands. Finally, advisor Gord Telior was put in charge of the northern reservoir. Thus, the 3 high houses were established. King Regna hoped to bring the Royalists under control by creating a rivaling force that already had merit to their name. That is very interesting, that all 3 of the high houses descend from Wolford, specifically. That is a really cool detail. I like that a lot. Like, because it solidifies even more how tragic it is that 2 of the houses fall so early in the story, you know? Or at least on my route. I don't know how it goes on other routes, but, because, like, they're not just other clans, like, they're family, you know? Like, if not by blood, then kind of by legacy and heritage, you know? That's rough. It was also rumored that the king divided the elite Wolford clan to diminish their might. His plan succeeded, but only in part. The 3 high houses gained almost as great popularity as the royal family itself, and the influence of the Royalists was suppressed. However, because the kingdom focuses on old customs, and Lord Simon prefers to dedicate himself to his house rather than vie for more power, the Royalists still continue to spearhead Glenbrook's politics. The beginning of the game is pretty rough. Yeah, man. Yeah, like, I mean, that's, you know, the start of the war. We're not just gonna, like, dally about for too long without things popping off, you know? Woo! Sorry for that. Knocked my water mug and my coffee mug together. You heard the ringing of bells. But yeah, no, it's pretty brutal. Pretty brutal. Those first 7 chapters are like, whoa. Did not see the connection to each of the 3 high houses up until now. Yeah, man, that's why reading this stuff is really important, and why, because there was already so much dialogue and everything in normal gameplay, I never really found the chance to do this during the Let's Play itself. So I wanted to take the chance to either do some videos or a stream or something to get caught up on the lore and have a slightly better appreciation of it all. The Hawk of Wolford. There are no detailed records remaining regarding the ancestors of Glenbrook's famed House Wolford. According to legend, a single hawk led a traveling warrior to a mountainous area northeast of the kingdom, where the small tribes of Fox and Teleor resided. The warrior, a distant ancestor of Wolford, then began to unite the tribes as a house under his leadership. As a result, he was able to maintain his clan's independence, despite being in the middle of the three nations. His small but elite forces famed throughout the land. So we really just do have a legacy of, like, mixing up the order of the day and uniting people and being a leader and everything. Like, that's what Wolford's been doing since they first strolled into the middle of Norzelia, apparently. Tink! Yeah, I know, I was very loud. Wonder what it would have been like had the high houses joined forces. I know, right? Like, and when we tried, again, I can only speak to my route. I don't know what the other routes hold, but we tried to meet up with Fox. I mean, we know what happened with Teleor. I mean, if the houses had come together, I feel like things would have been very different. Like, very different, but, you know, instead it was just Wolford against the world, so. Yo King, hello! How's it going? Thanks for joining us, my friend. Oh wait, there's another page. Simon, lord of the clan during the Salt Iron War, held great influence on the battlefield, and helped King Regna lead the war to its end. At the end of the war, he made a pact with the king, and his house became sword and shield of the crown. The clan was split into three, Wolford, Teleor, and Fox, and each was given their own domain to govern. Despite Simon being his vassal, King Vegna? King VeggieTales. King Regna holds House Wolford in special regard, and treats the lord with heartfelt respect as both a friend and fellow warrior. Fellow warrior, huh? We never saw Regna fight. I wonder what his fighting style was. The hawk upon the Wolford coat of arms represents the house's pride and fearlessness, and pays tribute to the hawk that led their ancestor to Wolford. Very cool. How much stuff do we have to go through here? Oh god, a fair amount. Alright, let's keep things rolling here. Let's see here. History of Esfrost, okay. The origins of the Grand Duchy of Esfrost are complex. The nation's founders were of House Esfrost, a family of nobles related to a previous generation of Glenbrook's royal line. At that time, a clan from the northern mountains repeatedly invaded the kingdom and caused great damage. House Esfrost then led a company of vassals and mercenaries into the mountains and defeated the clan's chief. In recognition of their valor, the king granted the Esfrosts dukedom and rulership of their conquered territory, which came to be known as the Grand Duchy of Esfrost. House Esfrost encouraged the mountain folk under their jurisdiction to turn their ironworking skills into an industry, thus strengthening their move towards independence. When the crown transferred to the current family line, Esfrost made its break from the kingdom and established itself as its own nation. Their military might is still alive and well in the Black Irons, who wield the latest iron arms, and the mountain folk raised in the harsh northern environs ardently support the simple and stable rule of House Esfrost. Again, like, what good world building this is. Esfrost doesn't just exist. Esfrost came from Glenbrook, oldest of the three kingdoms. They had this history where they were granted this land by defeating an invading clan that was attacking Glenbrook. They were gifted all this stuff. Then they wound up breaking from Glenbrook, made like a pact/treaty with the mountain folk, incorporated them into the nation, and that led to Esfrost as we know it today. World building, man. Writing. It's so good. So good. You're well. Gonna go to a friend's for barbecue soon. Nice, nice. Enjoy yourself some good barbecue. Barbecue is delicious. You might never know how Regna fought. Might have been another spear fighter on horseback for all we know. Oh, you know, that's true. That's true. There is a lot of that in Glenbrook. By a lot, I mean 2 characters, but still, it's a pattern. I would be surprised if that was the case. Could have been an archer as well. Interesting. The Rise of Iron. One of my favorite Destiny expansions. It is unclear when iron production began in Esfrost. However, records show that they wielded self-made iron weapons when others had nothing but bronze. The iron swords and arrows of the northern mountain clans easily pierced bronze shields, earning the awe of other nations. Charcoal production has flourished in the Frosty Mountains, and iron sand has been collected from local streams since ancient times. It is said that these conditions, along with the invention of bellows, led to the start of their iron industry. Iron ore is now mined around the nation, and outstanding iron products are mass-produced by their large-scale workshops and furnaces, which burn hotter than ever. Given the importance of iron in Esfrost, it comes as no surprise that their ironworking techniques are a national secret that is rigorously protected and managed with the help of the craftsmen. For the Grand Duchy of Esfrost to share those techniques in this joint mining venture is truly unprecedented. I pray that the realm will finally be at peace, and that the people will work together to see this new era flourish. Ooh, well, we see how that played out. Yeesh. Rough. The Rosellan Uprising. Oh, this should be good. The source is said to be holy ground in Hyzant, and a place where the Rosell atone for the sins of their ancestors. It is also the origin of the realm's salt, but its limited access makes it nearly impossible for anyone to see what truly goes on inside. However, during the midst of the Salt Iron War, the Rosell rebelled against the Holy State and escaped, leaving behind a scar upon the goddess's statue. Or, so the story goes. Hyzant has never made an official statement regarding the incident. Even so, investigations have shown that a group of Rosell were spotted near the Citadel of the Sands and the Wolfort domain at that time. It is also an open secret that a Rosellan village stands deep within the current Wolfort domain. Around the same time, Lady Orleia was also welcomed to Ironstone as a concubine of the previous Archduke, Zygmunt. The Archduke never revealed Lady Orleia's origins, much to the disappointment of his chief vassals, but the occurrence of these incidents is much too great a coincidence to ignore. But those are problems of the past. Yeah, What is important is the fact that the Rosell at the source possess the power to shake Hyzant. If we were able to harness that power, our nation would be in a most favorable position. Oh, okay. Very, very interesting. I wonder, this must have been written by someone from Esfrost then, huh? Whoopsie! Yeesh. Yeah, that's a yikes moment for sure, man. Ouch. In all my years of playing video games, the only notes I've ever read are like 2 books in Skyrim and 3 notes in each Metro game. Fair enough. It's not for everyone. You know? That's part of the reason why I wanted to do these readings, and again, we're just shotgunning it all now instead of doing individual videos about it, which I just didn't have time for during the Let's Play. Because it's easier for people who don't normally read this stuff to just like put on a video or a stream and listen to it and learn and generally enjoy the lore without having to take the time out of playing to sit and read it themselves, because I know that's not for everyone. So this way I get to enjoy reading to you guys, which is something that I very much take pleasure in, and you guys get to learn about the game without having to read it yourselves. Win-win. Development of the Norzelia Consortium. After the Salt Iron War, fought over Hyzant's sole ownership of salt, the Norzelia Consortium was established to oversee the equal distribution of salt and iron to the realm. The 3 nations brought together trade specialists to create this neutral and impartial organization, as agreed upon in the Accords. The Consortium's success in fair trade contributed greatly to the reconstruction of Norzelia, which had been ravaged by the war. The Kingdom of Glenbrook, rich in agriculture and fisheries, prospered due to the stable influx of salt from the Consortium. The people were able to produce large quantities of salted meats, dried fish, dairy products, and more. Exports of these goods helped restore national power. Though it was thought to be the dawn of a new age for Norzelia, Hyzant began to strengthen its voice within the Consortium as the reconstruction progressed. In Esfrost, on the other hand, the situation could not have been worse. Its already small population suffered the greatest number of casualties during the war, and reviving the iron industry was taking longer than anticipated. To make matters worse, salt prices soared within the duchy due to taxes and transportation fees from the distant Hyzant. Though iron exports were meant to balance salt imports, the nation's labor and iron shortages caused it to accrue a large trade deficit. Though the Consortium was meant to adjust that imbalance, it did not take any drastic measures. Rather, it leaned more toward Hyzant and establishing salt as the main axis of trade. There are some who believe that the Hierophant, unable to accept that the war ended in a draw due to the injuries on all sides, had a hand in this, and wished Esfrost to take responsibility for the war. Though the truth is unknown, it is undeniable that Esfrost is the only nation at such a major disadvantage. The duchy's dissatisfaction naturally mounted, and a tension much like the one before the war began descended upon Norzelia. A concerned King Regna and Simon Wolford then summoned the other nations to participate in a joint mining venture at the Grand Norzelian Mines. Their aim was not only to ease the tension between the duchy and the Holy State, but also to offer support for the former's iron industry and correct the trade imbalance between both nations. The entire realm watches this new venture with hopeful eyes, praying that it will finally create the much-needed balance between salt and iron and restore the original functions of the Norzelia Consortium. If it succeeds, then perhaps our realm will finally know peace, and the tragedies of the Salt Iron War will be a thing of the past. Man, whoever's responsible for penning these particular notes is, really just a herald of doom, huh? Talk about manifesting the exact opposite of what you wanted, dear lord. If these countries wanted salt so bad, they should have just gone to a Smash Bros. Tourney. Oh no. Or to any, like, Super Smash Brothers, like, character reveal or something. Anything to do with Smash, really. The Saintly Seven. Yeah, big yikes. Seriously, man, like, oof. The Saintly Seven, headed by the Hierophant, are the leaders of Hyzant. They are responsible for aiding the Hierophant, Oracle of the Goddess, and guiding the Holy State's faithful. In addition, each saint is responsible for an important division and acts as a minister in other nations. However, all are equal in the eyes of the goddess, including the Saintly Seven. It is therefore strictly forbidden for anyone to pursue their own personal interests, Sorsley End. The saints who serve the Hierophant are as follows: Sorsley End, Minister of Salt, Overseer of the Source. RIP. Exham Marshal, Minister of Arms, Master of Military Matters. RIP. Camsel Ferrant, Minister of Domestic Affairs, Protector of Public Order. RIP. Edor Delmira, Minister of Religion, Lila Viscraft, Minister of Medicine, and Tenebri Mistel, Vice Minister of Religion, Keeper of the Goddess's History. RIP. One, two... Saintly Seven. 6 people. Sorsley, Exham, Camsel, Edor, Lila, Tenebri. Headed by the Hierophant, right. The Hierophant's the other one. Duh. Jeez. Come on, brain. These have not aged well yet. This is rough, man. The salt I generated from that Sora reveal trailer could have sustained them for years. Not that I dislike the pick, but that trailer is clearly Dark Souls. Yeah. I remember you were, like, trying to be so supportive for me because I was so happy, but you were so sad. Someday. When they inevitably make another Smash game and put more characters in it, we will inevitably get the Tarnished, because Elden Ring did so well. I promise you it's going to happen. The Might of the Goddess. The history of Norzelia is also the history of the goddess's teachings. The goddess punished the Rizel, who attempted to claim the realm's salt as their own, and bestowed the source upon her faithful. The goddess's scriptures are the oldest of Norzelia's written records, and her teachings are the oldest religion in the land. The history of her followers predates that of all nations. This was clearly written by someone in Hyzant. With the source and the power of salt at their backs, her faithful built a nation headed by a Hierophant that unified church and state. That nation came to be known as the Holy State of Hyzant. According to the scriptures, Hyzant is the oldest of the 3 nations. Though it is unknown when the giant statue of the goddess at the source was built, her believers assert that it is the goddess descended upon this earth. Her words are spoken through the Hierophant, who in turn brings equality to her faithful. The fact that such a peculiar nation owns the source and has held such tremendous influence since antiquity is both a mystery and a distinction of Norzelian history. Footnote says, while some books assert that Glenbrook is the oldest of the three nations, those records were written after the goddess's scriptures. This has led some to believe that they are more fabrication than fact. Although there is no doubt as to when the scriptures were written, their level of literary completeness suggests that other records should have existed at the time. Since no such records remain, however, it is hypothesized that a large-scale book burning may have occurred. Okay, maybe this isn't written by someone in Hyzant. So I don't think they would acknowledge something like that, which puts some blame, at least pointed in the direction of Hyzant, if not squarely on their shoulders. Shoulders, whatever, same difference. Gotta go, see you later. Enjoy, Yoking! Have a good one. Curious about the mortal Hierophant 30 years prior. Yeah, me too. Me too. I know there's no plans for any DLC or anything for the game, but I would love to see like a prequel game set during the Salt Iron War, you know? Even if it was just like a side game where there's less the choice mechanics, it would still be cool to see, because like that would be hard to make work given that there's a game that comes after it, but it would be awesome to see like Simon in his prime, have him like as the Lord, and Regna, and like the combat against Hyzant, and what the Saintly Seven were like, and like young Eridor and Benedict. That would be super cool. We could learn more about Serenoa's mother. Like, there's a lot of potential there. See Groma and Archibald in their primes. Like, I feel like there's potential for a fun game there. So maybe we will someday. These are fighting words? Yeah. The strongest of soldiers. the soldier shoulders. Those who heal the ailing. Those who aid the injured and ill can be roughly divided into three categories. Apothecaries prescribe a variety of medication. Physicians rely upon medicine and surgery, and healers utilize magic to cure their patients. It is critical that those in need get the proper treatment based on their symptoms. Each practice has its own merits, though some nations and people are known to have a preference. For example, the Kingdom of Glenbrook employs mostly physicians, and those in poverty-stricken areas tend to rely more on apothecaries. All three are comprehensively studied at Hyzant's Ministry of Medicine. It is said that new medications and healing arts are discovered there every day. Yeah, and I guess that's really kind of true, huh? Because, like, the only healer we get that isn't from Hyzant or have a history with Hyzant is Hasabara. Like, Gila studied there. Obviously, Medina's from there and worked at the Ministry of Medicine. And even Narv's grandfather, like, was from Hyzant, you know? So his healing magic that is magic from his grandfather is probably able to be attributed to Hyzant. Triangle Strategy 0, Dawn of the Octopath. What the hell? Oh my god, that'd be something else, man. The system of magic. Ah, this is what was written by Grandante. Magic is a vast subject that requires advanced skills to master. To cast a spell, one must thoroughly understand the theories behind it and use the appropriate techniques with absolute precision. Magic is by no means an almighty and miraculous force. There are various restrictions on its use, and becoming a mage is a lifelong journey of learning and training far greater than that required by a craftsman or soldier. Ah, you can tell this was written by a mage. My craft is the greatest and most arduous to attain mastery in compared to those of lesser beings. Mages, man. But magic opens up a realm of endless possibilities. Even now, knowing its limits is far beyond our capabilities. The research and efforts of us mages, however, unlock new possibilities and enable us to help even more of those in need. To those who wish to learn the arcane arts, I say this. A true mage is someone who wishes to learn the good that magic can do in the world. Alright. Grandante sounds like a pretty stand-up guy. love quadrangle story between Destra, Benedict, Simon, and Regna. Yeah. That sounds about right. That does sound about right. The Eternal Norzelia River. How are we coming along here? Okay, we're coming along. We're coming along. The Norzelia River has two tributaries with unique properties. The western branch, running from the snowy Norzelian Mountains, is filled with water year-round. Although the water levels are now under control, the tributary was once quite turbulent and prone to floods. Many areas with swift currents still remain, however, and prove challenging to inexperienced sailors. Only S-Frost's ships, armed with the full knowledge of the river's waters, are able to navigate those currents. The other tributary, stemming from the eastern deserts, flows calmly throughout. The gentle sloping of the river also allows for easy upstream passage. Water transport flourishes for most of the year, although low water levels in some seasons make the voyage near impossible for large vessels. The two branches converge into a single, mighty river at Glenbrook, and flow south to the Norzelia Falls. Norzelia River ships. The Norzelia River, which runs through the three nations, is an integral part of the realm's trade and military affairs. In the Kingdom of Glenbrook, built upon the riverbank, boats are a popular mode of transportation, and cargo ships are a frequent sight. The holy state of Hyzant also has many large shipping vessels for their prospering salt trade. While it is possible to go upstream with paddles and sails, it is not uncommon to see people or horses towing a bow from the shore in the rapids. Fair enough. In S-Frost, ships are necessary not only for cargo, but their military as well. Their warships are clad in iron armor and are skilled at navigating even the river rapids. Their naval fleet and black irons strike fear into the hearts of any who dare stand against them. Alright, we are an hour in, chat. I'm going to take a quick break and refill my water, because this is a lot of talking. We'll be right back. 1 second. Ting! Trying to find anywhere to put down my headset. Jeez. My desk is cluttered today. All right. I return. Be gone. Be right back. I'm talking a lot. A break well deserved. Thank you. I didn't really even realize that an hour had gone by until I realized I was starting to feel tired. I was like, what the hell? And then I looked. I was like, oh, we've been live for an hour. Fair enough. There is another healer, but they are in a different route, and they are not from Hyzan. Ah, see? I keep forgetting that there's, like, actually probably... I think at least 5 characters that I don't have. It's so wild. It's so, so cool. I love it. I'm so excited to play the game some more. Alright. Norzelia river ships we've read. Winds of Norzelia. There are 2 large wind systems constantly blowing across Norzelia. The cold wind, blowing from north to south, is known as the mountain wind. The warmer wind that blows from east to west is the desert wind. These 2 winds collide above the plains, creating clouds and bringing about rainfall. The breeze generated by this collision also helps ships traveling upstream. Birds instinctively use this wind when in flight. Messenger birds in particular take advantage of the gusts to travel long distances quickly. When great hawks have riders upon their backs, they utilize the strong winds to ascend and glide. Skilled hawkers and hawk riders can read the winds and use them to travel further, faster. Very nice. Very nice. I love that we have hawk riders in this. It's very, very cool. The people of Norzelia. People are a product of their environment. For example, citizens of Glenbrook are calm and mild-mannered, much like their mild surroundings. Those living in the crown city that bustles with trade, however, are calculating and easily influenced by others. The people are also characterized by their emphasis on custom and tradition, which can be expected from such a long-standing nation. Those living in the Wolford domain are simple and sincere, perhaps influenced by their lords. As frosty citizens, on the other hand, are characterized by their proud and independent personalities. The duchy is home to many ambitious and inquisitive artisans. Some might say they can come off as self-righteous. The Hyzantian subjects are pious and honest. Followers of the goddess, they offer their thanks to her every day for her blessing of equality. Ordinary persons such as myself tend to feel ashamed in comparison. Finally, we have the Roselle, marked by their rose-colored hair. Unfortunately, I have never had the pleasure of meeting a Rosellan in person, though I doubt I ever will find one outside the source. The goddess's teachings portray them as sinners who attempted to monopolize salt in ancient times, but could that really be true? Think about it a little longer, maybe you'll find out, buddy. Salt and fish. You could spend a lifetime studying the culinary arts, and you still wouldn't come close to learning every method or ingredient out there. Some foods aren't ready until they've aged for a full month. Others take years and years to mature to full flavor. But, unique as those flavors may be, they aren't necessarily the most delicious just because they take so long to make. What is the most delicious food, you ask? Well, in my humble opinion, it would have to be sweet fish, fresh caught from a river in early summer, salted and grilled to perfection over an open flame. Nothing can quite compare to the pleasure of enjoying a piping hot meal, quaffing an ice-cold pint as a soft breeze wafts over the water. Perhaps sprinkling a little salt and holding a skewer over a fire doesn't exactly qualify one as a chef, but I don't think I wouldn't trust anyone, God, took a second, who sticks their nose up at that simple yet delicious flavor. People are a product of their environment. For instance, this young man spawned as an orb that fell from a fruit tree, and Billy over there crawled out from under a rock. Sailors are known to spawn near kelp. Oh my god. Could you imagine? That could actually make for a pretty cool world. Register of the Roselle. Oh, ugh, gross. I forgot we picked this up. Look at them just numbered. Quota met, failed to meet quota, given 3 lashes as a warning. Failed to even come close to meeting quota, given 5 lashes as a warning. Failed to meet quota for a 3rd day in a row, given 10 lashes as punishment. Rations and water reduced by 1/3. Good God. Failed to meet quota 10 days in a row. Poor physical condition. Fever shows no sign of breaking. Suspending rations. 18815, deceased. Replaced by 9-year-old boy. Failed to meet quota. Given 3 lashes as a warning. Jesus Christ, man. Wow, that's dark. God damn. Yeah, that's brutal. Like, that's really brutal. I mean, I'm glad that they're not afraid to show the brutality of what was being done to the Roselle, though. Like, it strengthens the point that they needed to be rescued and that we needed to do something to help them. But just, goddamn. Rated T for teen? Yeah. Yeah. Because it's not graphic or sexual or anything in the way that things are typically rated. But it certainly leaves a lot to the imagination and lets you go to a lot of dark places. Casualties among the Roselle. Oh, God. We got more. From X day of X month to X day of X month. Accident, emaciation, accident, emaciation, accident, emaciation. Corpses delivered to Ministry of Medicine. Yep, there it is. And there... Oh, man. Oh, man. Wow. So there's a... you guys will see there's a connection I make near the... I believe near the beginning of the finale episode that's premiering tonight. That this helps confirm. Just keep this in mind. Not that you want to, but when watching the finale tonight, remember this. It'll be relevant. Mining schedule. Okay, let's move on from the bitter depths of darkness. Jesus. XX day of XX month, year XX. Geological survey complete. High likelihood good quality iron ore is present. Though buried deep under hard bedrock, mining it should be possible with explosives. So this must be from when we were first building the Grand Norzelian mine, if I had to guess. Start of trial dig. Trial dig with explosives successful. Discovered vein of iron ore. Start of mine shaft construction. There you go, yeah. I made it in the last episode. Oh, really? Huh. Oh, yeah, you know what? That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. God. It's... recording things, like, back to back and so often and everything, it really leaves your mind muddled on what happened in which episodes. It could have been by Dragon. It might have been by Dragon, yeah. Looking forward to the final episode tonight where it's revealed that Travis and Trish are the final boss. God, could you imagine? Roland's wanted poster. By order of the Archduke, I, Gustadolf Esfrost, Archduke of the Grand Duchy of Esfrost, hereby order the arrest of His Royal Highness Prince Roland of the Kingdom of Glenbrook. The prince is 20 years of age, gold of hair, and blue of eye. He has in his possession a ring bearing the insignia of the royal family. Whomsoever captures the prince and delivers him to duchy officials unharmed will be rewarded with a sum of 10,000 mora. No, not mora, coin. Report to the king. Dear, I will happily accept into our house. Understand, I do not do this because I was commanded, but because I love, perhaps even more than you do. As for the child, I will raise them as my own, as my heir. I know how much suffering this causes you. So, okay. Rather than leaving the blanks, because I know what the names are here. If you... I mean, if you're watching this at this point, I'm assuming that you don't care about spoilers for the Golden Route. If you do, get out now, because I'm about to reveal the names of this, but I imagine you all know. So, 5, 4, 3, 2... Dear Regna, I will happily accept Destra into our house. Understand, I do not do this because I was commanded, but because I love Destra. Perhaps even more than you do. As for the child, I will raise them as my own, as my heir. I know how much suffering this causes you, Regna. I never intended to reveal my feelings, but with all that has happened, I could not bear to tell you anything but the absolute truth. I hope you find it in your heart to forgive me. I swear for the sake of our children, all of them, I shall never speak another word of this matter as long as I live. Your friend, Simon Wolford. P.S. Pray burn this letter once you have read it. Obviously that didn't happen. Oy, oy, oy. Imagine if it said Mora, though, crossover. That would be pretty great. Hey, Caffeine is here. What's up, Caffeine? How's it going? Wonder what the bandits did with all that money from finding the body. Oh, good question. Probably gambling and booze and whatever. Or maybe setting up some sort of proper home. Who knows? I shouldn't assume. Shouldn't judge. It was Travis and Trish, so... Unfinished letter. We escaped, somehow. There are not many of us, but we were at least able to determine that... Oh, this... I think we read this, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I believe we read this on, on the video before where we fought Exham. Yeah, this is the letter from, Frederica's mother. What is her name? Orlea. This is a letter from Orlea, basically outlining, from her perspective, what happened with the Rosellan uprising. P.S. Burn this letter. Narrator. They did not burn the letter. Probably got paid much less because he was dead. Things that unharmed, right? Oh, that's true. You know, that's a good point. That is a good point. Little brother's in town, so I may not make both streams today, but he might be napping this afternoon, so we'll see. I mean, the good thing is that it's just a premiere, so, like, it's only live in the sense that there'll be a chat and stuff, but don't feel, like, super pressured if you're not there. No big deal. Whatever works for you. I mean, hey, I don't even know what I'm going to be doing, because it seems like Jane might wind up actually having the flu, so might wind up being compelled to take care of her. We'll see. She's sleeping right now, so. Have you heard the rumor of the moving cask? It's said that a mysterious apparition has been seen wandering around Hyzan lately. According to one theory, the lingering hatred of someone who drowned their sorrows in wine gathered within the cask and caused it to move, gaining it the name the Cursed Cask. They say that the lonely apparition beckons others to the same fate, calling out these words. Welcome and welcome and welcome and welcome and... This is interesting. Never saw a payoff for this. I'm assuming it might be something for another route, but like this has to lead to something, right? Oh no, I hope she's okay. Yeah, she should be okay. You know, it's better than potentially being COVID, which is what we were worried it could be since... Like, her grandmother is sick, and, you know, Jane knew that she'd been around people who weren't feeling well when she was on her trip, but, you know, if it's just the flu, like, it's not great, but better than COVID. Japanese trope of writing the same thing over and over because crazy. That is a very Japanese thing, huh? Never really thought about that, but that's true. This cannot continue, etc. Yeah. Yeah. A wedding in Wolford. The engagement of Serenoa Wolford and Frederica Esfrost has been decided. Their union has been received favorably by the peoples of both Glenbrook and Esfrost as a bridge of peace between the two nations. Lady Frederica has arrived safely in Wolford, and wedding preparations are quietly underway. With Lord Serenoa officially leading House Wolford, there is no doubt the ceremony will be a grand one, attended by dignitaries of every nation. From Glenbrook, King Regna, Prince Franny, and Lord Serenoa's closest friend, Prince Roland, will be attending. From the Grand Duchy, Lady Frederica's brothers, Archduke Gustadolf and Prime Minister Thalis, are expected to join in the festivities as well. But who will be attending on behalf of Hyzant? Many are curious to know who from the Holy State would attend a wedding meant to strengthen the ties between Glenbrook and Esfrost, and with a Rosellan bride, nonetheless. Though the Hierophant is out of the question, we will be able to peer into the Holy State's political motives depending on which of the Saintly Seven attend. Though the guest list is still uncertain, we know one thing for sure. This wedding will undoubtedly be a turning point in Norzelia's history. Yeah. Shame it hasn't happened yet. At least from what you guys have seen, who knows what'll happen in the finale tonight? Be there and find out. This is related to another route? Okay, that makes sense. Do I plan to continue other routes? That is... Well, I will be playing it regardless. We will be doing it on the channel, however. That's something that will wind up being discussed during the finale tonight, so I won't get into it now. Once you notice that trope, it's everywhere. Yeah. Why not Frederick, though? Because it's not her name. Her name's Frederica. Don't want to go around calling a lady by a name that isn't hers. That'd be rude. Beware of the beautiful bandit. A beautiful bandit has been seen around the Wolford domain, robbing nobles and the wealthy alike. I heard she was spotted around the harbor, so I headed to Wolford myself and spoke to an eyewitness. We shared drinks at a local tavern as he told me all he knew. He was a middle-aged man with red hair, and knew much more than I anticipated about the woman in question. He described her appearance and personality, but continued on to regale me with tales of her childhood, habits, and least favorite foods. Hours passed, with no end in sight. I assumed that someone so well informed must know how to contact her directly. So this is Travis and Trish. This is the red-haired man in question here. This is Travis, Trish's father. Like, I'm 100% certain of that. By the time dawn was breaking, I managed to muster up the courage to tell him I was thoroughly interested and wished to meet her for myself. The man then shouted, "Ha! So you've fallen in love with Trish, have you? Sorry, but a nobody like ye ain't got a chance with me daughter." The last thing I remember was a searing pain in my head. When I came to, I was on the floor, and the informant was walking away, leaving me to pay the tab. I wish no one to meet the same unfortunate fate that I have. So to those who are looking for the beautiful bandit, I say this: beware of her father. Oh, God. Travis is something else, man. Travis is something else. The state of the Grand Norzelian mines. Oh, and this is actually the last thing that we have to read. Damn. Okay. Let me put on my best voice for this. The Grand Norzelian mines were meant to be a symbol of peace between the three nations of the realm. A grand ceremony was held to commemorate the occasion, and everyone anticipated a new era of peace coming to the land. However, the people's expectations were betrayed when Esfrost invaded Glenbrook. Though the Grand Duchy claims that the Kingdom of Glenbrook attempted to take the mines for themselves, the mines are currently occupied by Esfrost, and the truth remains in the dark. I risked my very life to ascertain the current state of the mines for myself. The Grand Norzelian mines are kept under strict watch by the Esfrosti army, making it difficult to even approach. I ventured as close as I possibly could and confirmed that the mines are indeed under operation. Numerous large carts come and go from the mines and take the mountain path towards the Grand Duchy. The carts are all covered, but I surmise they are filled with excavated iron. I tried to get closer, but was unfortunately seen by Esfrosti soldiers, who loosed arrows at me without warning. Thankfully, I managed to escape with merely a scratch, and quickly withdrew, fearing for my life. In the end, I could not discern the truth of what was happening at the Grand Norzelian mines, but I can confirm that the mines are in operation, and an odd air of tension blankets the place. But just what does this mean? Well, we know. We know the answer to this question. This anonymous individual might not, but we know. And we have reached the end of our readings for this lore stream of Triangle Strategy. Obviously, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, we don't have everything available to us. There are volumes missing from Wonders of Norzelia. I'm sure there's notes and other things from other routes that we haven't seen, but we've got a lot of it here. We do, in fact, have a lot of it here, so I'm happy that we were able to sit and read all of it. Oh, boy, oh boy. The difference between streaming for 3 to 4 hours and just like talking intermittently about what's happening in game or chatting with you guys in chat is very different from just for almost an hour and a half reading nearly nonstop. You feel the difference, let me tell you. Ah, boy. Water is good. But yeah, guys, I mean, this is everything that I had planned for this stream, honestly. This file, funnily enough, is actually loaded in New Game Plus. Not that I've done anything in New Game Plus, so I don't want to like do anything here, potentially spoil anything that happens in the finale, so I'm going to, I think, leave this here. I have to go and pick up our groceries from the store as well, seeing as how Jane is out of commission. So I'm going to go do that and probably start cooking dinner, I guess. Figure out what it is that I'm going to make that will be good for Jane. And then for those of you who are going to be around at 7 tonight for the premiere of the finale, I will hopefully be in chat with all of you guys, reacting and re-experiencing the ending of a wonderful game. Sorry to have missed most of it, but I'll go back and watch the VOD at some point. Absolutely, absolutely. I hope you enjoy caffeine. No worries. Enjoy the groceries? Is that a normal thing to say? I mean, I like to cook, so I will enjoy the groceries. And I also like to eat, so I'll doubly enjoy the groceries. Soup, 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 soup. Yes, soup is on the horizon. This is the last thing. Before I go, I'll give you guys a glimpse into my plan. So, Jane and I have been really into getting whole chickens from the store because we've had really good price, like $7 for a whole, like, skinned, flavored chicken. Or not skinned, but, like, prepped. Like, you know, disemboweled and everything, like, ready to cook, in bag, seasoned chickens for $7. It's insane. It's such a good deal. So we've been making them and, like, using the meat in various things, and we've actually been storing the bones. And I'm going to make a big batch of bone broth with all of it and make soup. But we have one more coming with the groceries today, so I'm probably going to roast that tonight and then use the chicken from it in the soup and use the bones along with the other bones that I have frozen to make the bone broth, and it's going to be good. It's going to be very hearty, very healthy, and hopefully get Jane back on her feet in no time, and if I get sick, help keep me going as well. So it should be excellent. Shopping for groceries can be fun. Oh, I like shopping for groceries, but again, that's because I like to cook, so. See you around. Absolutely. Thanks for hanging out. Pixelton, very much appreciated. Hope to hear from you tonight, but if not, we'll definitely understand. Sending Jane all the good vibes and wishes. Absolutely. I will let her know once she's awake, because she is asleep and has been for a few hours. So, thanks for hanging out, y'all, and I will hopefully talk to you later tonight. But for now, talk to y'all later. Be good to each other. Bye now.